Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Olson.
Here.
Councillor Fennessy. Councillor Bender.
Here.
Councillor Sweeney. Councillor McDonald. Councillor Mazzolia. Councillor Finsland. Councillor Herrick. Councillor McKenzie is excused, and Councillor Brown.
And I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from June 4.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any corrections or additions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign? Okay, I believe Linda wants to say something about 5.1.
5.1 is a public hearing to consider non-renewal of item D of the alcohol report, and I've handed out to you tonight updated report. They are now code compliant, so you could consider a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved in multiple seconds to approve that. And any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign? Sounds good.
Item 6 is a consent agenda.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Seeing no one lighting their light, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign?
Item 7.1 is Planning Director Cirque, on behalf of Douglas County Relay for Life, is requesting authorization to place signs in areas listed in the document beginning July 1st, and they will be taken down after their event on July 13th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and approved to, it's been moved and seconded to approve 7.1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
7.2, Planning Director Cirque is submitting a request from Valmere Companies to the City of Superior to accept attached stormwater access easement, deed of dedication of right-of-way, and the east-west alley that was constructed as part of CVS development.
It's been moved and seconded. Councillor Herrick would like to say something.
Yeah, Jason, just, is this easement from the diagrams, is this right in the middle of their parking lot?
Yeah, essentially, they had to do some pretty significant, and Steve might be able to talk a little bit more if you want a little more info. They had to do some pretty significant movement of some of the sand or some of the stormwater in that area, or the stormwater infrastructure. So as part of that, they had to place it and grant us an easement to do any inspection or cleaning or whatever or what have you needs to happen in that area. So yeah, it is in their middle of their parking lot, but it's a brand new structure, and hopefully it'll work all right.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor of 7.2 say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign?
Motion carries.
No, motion carries. Motion carries, excuse me.
7.3, Public Works Director Getzman is requesting to award cell number 5, Phase 2 Construction Observation Services at Moccasin Mike Landfill to SEH Incorporated for the amount of $168,925.
Second.
And Councillor Brown, and I would also like to ask something about this too.
Yeah.
Councillor Brown, you're first.
I'm wondering, there was quite a disparity in the difference in prices, and I'm wondering why you chose the $70,000 high bidder.
It's a great question, Counselor. The difference between the two bidders we have here, we asked for Wisconsin experience in building landfill containment cells. The lower bidder doesn't have any Wisconsin experience, and their offices are actually, the majority of their people are in California and Colorado. They did talk to me about that during the bidding process, and they did submit a bid just the same, that they would send somebody from out of state. And I have some reservations on this particular project about hiring somebody that doesn't have experience in Wisconsin, working with the DNR and submitting the paperwork for containment cell certifications and all the other testing we have to do. We have a tight timeline on this one, as you have probably heard me say. We have basically this construction season to finish this containment cell, or we'll be running short on space come next winter sometime before we can build that cell in 2014. So I'm a little reluctant to award something to a firm that hasn't worked in this state or seen our landfill before on a project where we have a kind of a high stakes construction project here.
Okay, and where else did they have experience?
Yeah, I mean, they've worked in many different states: California, Colorado, the western U.S. quite a bit, even overseas in some areas.
Yeah, if it was, I'm in favor of hiring local contractors, but boy, with $70,000 difference.
No,
that's,
I understand. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about having to pay that kind of a difference here, but the other firm did do the design work on this phase, is familiar with all those soil borings that were put down, can answer questions about anything that needs to be fixed in that realm. The other guy hasn't even seen our site. So, like I say, if we wouldn't have experienced those problems in construction in the last phase, and we got a firm here who's familiar with all those changes and has designed the thing around the soil borings that we put down, I'm a lot more confident in what they can provide for us.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Fennessy?
Yeah, I had some of the same concerns, and you addressed some of those. I just want to be assured that the $168,000 you feel is a fair price based on comparables, past projects, because we have nothing to go off of. And I understand that the climate, the bidding climate and all that, I just find it odd that you solicited 300 firms and only basically 2 and 1 only from Wisconsin. I mean, is that typical? Is it that specialized of a trade or job?
It is in some ways. I mean, the people you have to have on site do need certain certifications to perform testing on soil compaction and watch the liner construction, how the seams are welded, and test those. So there are some certifications required, and most of the firms around here don't have that. Local in our region right here. So SEH is the one that has been working there in the past too.
Okay, and don't get me wrong, I know SEH has done a lot of work with the city, very,
As far as the cost
capable.
question, when we bid this out, we specified for all bidders a certain number of days we expected somebody to be on site doing the construction observation work. There's a certain number of days when they need a second person during the liner construction, a certain number of days for survey work on site, and it may come a little under that, but we based it on how the last project went, how that went as far as days on site. And actually, comparing to the first phase of this Cell 5, we have 20 more days on site, and that project was 4 years old, and the price is about 10% higher. So, and we had 2 bidders on the last phase 4 years ago. They were within $3,000 of each other. So this seems like it fits pretty well as far as what I would expect.
Okay,
in terms
no,
of fee.
and I'm comfortable. I know sometimes the low bid isn't always the best, but I just want to make sure that we are
Oh, yeah.
comfortable with that.
One other thing I could tell you, between the 2 bids, they did have a different basis for their fee calculation as well.
Okay.
One bid a 10-hour workday and one bid an 8-hour workday. The lower one did. So if you were going to compare apples to apples as far as their rates, if you stretch them both to a 10 or cut them both back to an 8, they would be closer than they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
And Councilor Olson?
When we put these out for bid, Jeff, do we have a budget that we go by ahead of time, or is this just to look at the difference? I would have to say that, in my opinion, that SEH may be sitting back saying they've got a monopoly on this. They know the climate, and do we set a budget that it's going to be $150,000 or $170,000, or are they just coming in basically on soft money and presenting a bid price?
As far as an actual budget, yeah, I mean, we kind of went off the last project and what we saw in the bid results there as far as the hours required to do the construction observation. So in terms of budgeting money to pay for the service, that we did that. In terms of what their actual bids are going to be, yeah, I mean, we tell them how many hours we want them to base their bid on, and obviously they have to put a rate and expenses and everything together to fit into that required number of days of work. So it's a little bit up in the air. I mean, we don't exactly know what they're going to bid, obviously.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm answering your question.
Well, you are, but just to add to it, do we go out there and say that we've got $150,000 to budget for this, and if you're over budget, we need to go back to bid like we do on some of our other capital projects?
No, I mean, we do budget for internal use, we don't broadcast that number. And I mean, when it comes in, it's in the ballpark what we expected, and then basically at that point, yeah, I mean, we have to take a bid. Yeah.
Counselor Sweeney.
Just a little follow-up. Do we record when we accept a bid higher than the low bid? Do we record and have it on record why we accepted the higher bid? So if anyone were to look back 6 months, a year, that's, okay. Thank you.
Absolutely, yep.
Thank you very much.
And I believe Counselor Brown wanted to say something else.
When you said that one bid, the low bidder bid a 8-hour day and the high bidder bid a 10-hour day, was he requested to bid a 10-hour day, or are we working overtime out there on this, or?
He was.
You know what I mean? Can
Yep.
he lower his bid and get in compliance with the 8-hour day?
Well, essentially, that's what will happen. I mean, essentially, when it comes to the end of this, we're going to have to pay based on the number of hours they work. I mean, the contractor is going to get there and start on a schedule that, I mean, typically a 10-hour day in the summer is not unreasonable. I would say the 8 hours is pretty light, actually, if you expected to work 8. We're trying to compress this project in to get it done by October, and that contractor's going to work. He might work 12 hours some days if it's dry and things are really, really going good, but he may not work Fridays, or he may work a half a day, or so we're going to pay somebody to be there the total when they need to be there.
Yeah, but when you scheduled your job, I mean, you know, if you need a 10-hour day or 8-hour day job to finish the work, you know, depending on weather. I understand that, but I don't know. I worked construction all my life, and we worked rain or shine. It didn't make any difference.
Yeah, here we're going to be moving clay though, and we're subject to the weather to some extent. I mean, we've had issues with that before, where there have been downtimes where we don't work. So these guys are just trying to bid a numbers of days, staffing the numbers of hours that they think are the right number of hours to meet
And
the
I guess what
contract.
my question is then is, at the end of this project, if there's a savings, do we realize that?
Absolutely, these people bid what they bid, and they base it on the number of days we want them to provide a service, and then they'll bill us on a not to exceed hourly rate. So they put these totals in, and then as time goes, if they work less hours, they'll bill us less hours. They'll bill us for what they actually accrue.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Counselor Herrick?
Yeah, just one question, Jeff. Did we take borings for this second half? Are we all set there in that area?
We did, yeah, actually. And if you remember when the first cell went and we had the berm failure, we stopped construction for some period of time. And actually, we've hired, I think it was Braun Intertech did the boring work, but there was an engineer on site with them pointing out where to take the borings, and then we've got, I won't remember the exact number, but yeah, they did like a 100-foot grid across this current designed cell, the Phase 2 cell. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else have a question? And my questions were all answered. Actually, I think Counselor Brown and Counselor Fennessy had the same questions that I would have had. So, seeing no one else, all in favor of 7.3, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Item 10.1 is a resolution introduced by the Common Council concerning the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Compliance Maintenance Annual Report for 2012.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions or comments on 10.1? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
10.2 is a resolution of the Common Council authorizing the transfer of property located on Banks Avenue and North 12th Street to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Superior.
Motion to approve.
Counselor Brown has a question.
Yeah, Jason, is that both of those lots, or is that just the one?
It's
They're,
it's both of the lots. It's the city-owned lot that is paved and improved on the corner, and then it's also the former site of the Pink House that was torn down. Yes.
Yeah. What's VIP going to do for parking then?
Well, that's what we will be working with them on, as well as the Android, to negotiate an agreement with them. That's why we're transferring over to the Redevelopment Authority, an agreement and a purchase agreement. Their goal is to improve the parking situation back there for both parties. Not only the part, if you look on that map, my blue lines are on there.
Uh-huh.
Android owns that 25-foot strip directly to the south of the blue line, and then they own the larger lot. They want to work together on improving circulation in that area, providing some better well-lit parking. We're going to be doing an alley project back there as well next year to kind of match everything. We've got some drainage problems. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. The reason we're kind of putting this through the redevelopment authority is because we want to negotiate directly. We want them to come up with a plan to do some landscaping and things of that nature. So we'll be working with them on that, and you'll be seeing something hopefully in the next couple of months.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have a question or concern? If not, all in favor of 10.2, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
10.3 is a resolution of the Common Council authorizing the transfer of property located on Belknap Street between Oaks and Banks Avenues to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Superior.
Second.
Counselor Olson.
Are we getting this property back?
No, we have a different project. We have been approached by a large convenience store development to locate on that site. If you remember, it's been a few months now, we were approached by a developer to redo the Seas Lounge, as well as what we call affectionately the hole in the ground, the old Superior Courts, Supreme Courts.
Municipal swimming pool.
Yeah, exactly. And Mr. Holm has decided to sell to this convenience store chain his portion, and we've been approached by that chain to work with them not only on this piece of property, but also some additional parking area that we have to the north of Seas Lounge. So that will also be go to the Redevelopment Authority, and we will that will be in front of you hopefully in the next couple of months as well for approval on that. So about a $4.5 million investment on that site. So it'll be a good thing. The bid has also blessed it for us to move forward. So it will be a good addition and a good traffic generator for that corner.
So we're talking about the area that's in the squared in part, Jason?
Yeah, so essentially if you see the squared in portion, yeah, we will be essentially, Councilor Olson, what we're doing is the city owns that right now. You're transferring it by this action to the Redevelopment Authority so we can start negotiating with the folks from the convenience store.
Okay. Didn't we do that before, though? I thought we had a contingency plan that if it failed that we would get it back.
We never sold it because he never came through with his project, so we held on to it until
Gotcha.
the agreement was effective, and we never got to that point.
That's
So,
the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
you bet.
Counselor Herrick.
Yeah, Jason, on that, when the other gentleman was going to start his business there, that exit or entrance ramp, whatever you want to call it there, was going to still exist? Is it going to go away then?
No, actually, good question. The square is actually property that the city owns and is platted. We have actually carved out a section, which is more or less the parking lot, and have left the driving lanes and the right-of-ways to remain. Yes.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else? If not, all in favor of 10.3, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any business by public? All in favor of motion to adjourn, say aye. Aye. I won't ask since I heard everybody's voice but my own. The motion carries. Thank you for tonight.